in the series. Both games won by the A's 2-1. Pirates still looking for a way to solve the Athletics. Since interleague play began, they have not beaten them. They're 0 for 11.
Yeah, and not a great time to be in a hitting slump when you're trying to break out of that kind of situation. So, yeah, we do welcome you to Game 2 of this doubleheader. The first game brought to you by the National Weather Service. It's one of those things, Tim, that I think back in the day when you didn't have the great drainage and the piping under the fields and that sort of thing, this thing would have been bagged a long time ago. But because you got the Athletics, they're in contention, the Pirates are in contention. This is the last chance we get to do this. They waited, and they got it. They're going to get it underway.
Pirates need to improve the offense, especially with runners in scoring position. The numbers tell a story. Last 4 games, 3 for 27, 10 punch-outs, and with the 3rd worst average in Major League Baseball currently, 228 on the season with men in scoring position. And the slugging percentage is not very good either at that point. So something that definitely has to improve. The batting average and the numbers with runners in scoring position. Got to drive in runs. Pedro can't. He's hitting solo home runs, and his average has been climbing. But Pedro has been doing a pretty good job. But again, you got to get those home runs, especially with guys on base.
Yep, and you got to put some innings together where you string some hits together and just break out of it. It's gonna happen. They're gonna break out of it. It's just a matter of when. And in the meantime, you just got to pitch so good you can't give up 2 runs in a game. You know, if you're not hitting, you got to pitch better. If you're not pitching, you got to hit better. So, Tag, you're it, Francisco Liriano, and let's just hope you can do what you did in Chicago. A complete game effort, really terrific work, and he has been absolutely terrific. He's just done a great job since he got active after missing a good bit of the season.
Francisco Liriano trying to halt a 4-game losing skid for the Pirates. He is 8-3, a 220 earned run average. Tommy Malone, another left-hander, will pitch for the Oakland A's. They're dressed up for some late night baseball at PNC Park.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Well, back here with Steve Blass and Robbie Inchmakowski, I'm Tim Neverett, getting set for Game 3 of this three-game interleague series. Pirates start tonight 53-36. The A's 54-37. That's the baseball that Francisco Liriano will pick up once he's ready to get out there. And this game starting a little bit later than even it was projected to, just because Frankie's not ready yet.
Yeah, and how do you assess this game before a pitch is thrown as the Pirates finally do take the field? To me, all bets are off. When you have this big a delay, who knows what's going to happen? Other than one team is going to win this game. But, you know, it's different mindsets, preparation, who's going to be able to get their focus early and lock it in, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. You can almost throw it all out the window and just sit back and you're going to watch a Major League game and it's just going to be a little later than usual. So the Bucks and the A's getting it on.
Well, Bob Melvin a long time ago brought out this lineup with Coco Crisp leading off. The center fielder, switch hitter, start things for the Athletics. Then Jed Lowry, he's also a switch hitter. Josh Donaldson, fourth in the American League with a .380 average with runners in scoring position. He's a guy you could argue could have been an all-star this year. Yoenis Cespedes batting cleanup. Nate Fryman, then Chris Young, Derek Norris doing the catching. Grant Green in his second Major League game. Pitcher Tommy Malone will bat ninth against Liriano.
Chevrolet presenting the numbers for Francisco Liriano. The starts, 11 starts. He's 8-3. He's got a decision in all 11 starts. The ERA 2.20 would qualify if he had more innings among the National League leaders. And all the numbers exceptionally good. He has been remarkably consistent since he got healthy and started starting.
Well, there have been some hardcore fans here. These guys have been waiting for such a long time. They waited through a long rain delay and some ominous skies and some actually really pretty skies that developed as a result. Huge rainbow over PNC Park in downtown and some golden skies right around sunset to the west. But they're ready for some baseball, and it's a good thing it's not a school night.
Well, the thing is, a lot of them can just watch this game and head over to Clemente Bridge and go to work tomorrow morning.
That's right, because that's about the time it's going to end, is sometime in the morning. There's a shot of what that rainbow looked like.
And it was still raining. It was still raining pretty significantly, but we saw good things coming. There was a brilliant yellow sky. I thought the sun was rising in the west in back of us, but we're ready to go. We're going to play some ball.
All right. Let's take a look at the defense for the Pirates behind Liriano. In the outfield, Marte in left, McCutcheon in center field, Jose Talbot to the right fielder, Alvarez and Barmes on the left side of the infield. Jordy Mercer plays second base. Again, Gabby Sanchez at first, and Russell Martin behind the plate catching Liriano. Starling Marte waiting, and we've waited a long time, and
ESPN is holding us hostage.
Yep. So now they say we can play, so we're going to get going. Russell Martin's anxious. So is Liriano. He's ready. Francisco Liriano coming off a complete game victory his last time out on Friday against the Cubs. Here's the first pitch of this ball game. A much anticipated first pitch, and it's outside for ball one. 2 hour and 50-minute rain delay.
I had this happen to me a couple times, Tim, and it's just not any fun. You're pitching for a strike. You know, the adrenaline and the frustration that occurs during 2 hours and 50 minutes. It just really have to pull your socks up by the ankles and go out there and get it done.
Crisp, a base hit to right field to start the game. Well, the preparation, talk about that in a second. First, let's take a look at where that ball just kind of tailed away.
Yeah, up and away. Just kind of push it out to right field.
I was going to ask you about the preparation all day as a starting pitcher. You got your mind on your work. It's not just all day. It's from your last start.
Well, yeah.
Prepare for this start, and then when you have these delays, you say it's not that fun to have to wait around.
It is not. It's not fun at all.
Jed Lowry takes a strike on the corner. And Garrett Cole knows what it's like. He had to wait an hour and 42 minutes for his first pitch to be delivered last night. An hour and 42-minute delay last night. 2 hours and 50 minutes tonight. Nothing in one to Lowry. Switch hitting shortstop.
Tim, to be honest, back in the day, you didn't have the routines like you have now. The only routine I had was on the day I was going to pitch. The rest of it was a holiday. The other 4 days was just goofing off. So, but when you get your day when you're going to start, I mean, it builds and builds and builds, and you're ready to do certain things at different times of the day. And this just blows it all up.
And Lowry down on strikes. First strikeout for Francisco Liriano.
And Francisco has just been so good, and he's been good a lot of times downstairs. Now that pitch is down under the strike zone, and you get people to chase that pitch, you're going to succeed, because a batter cannot do much with that pitch in that location. Just doesn't lend itself to hitting.
Ray Searage and Nick Leva, third base coach, standing by. Ray's been able to watch a lot of good pitching this year under his tutelage.
Best ERA in the major leagues for the pitching staff. Yeah, you come to the ballpark as a starter, and all you're trying to do is kill time. Basically, you can talk all you want about taking batting practice, because most pitchers can't hit, even the good hitting pitchers. So you look at things to get you through that time before you go out and warm up, and that's the truth. I don't know if it's changed a lot.
Donaldson chopper foul up the third base side.
But there's so much structure and so much structured preparation now, so I'm sure it is different. Used to play cards, play solitaire, tell bad jokes to the clubhouse kid, just anything to get you through that time until you get out there and start to warm up.
A tweet coming in, hashtag Bucks Booth. What do you guys do during the long rain delays?
Well, I'm on the internet doing a lot of research.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, I saw Steve with his smartphone and his dumb phone, and
yeah, and we use the dumb phone a lot.
And he was just
I actually took a picture. I took a
emails.
picture of the rainbow. I found the camera part of the flip phone.
I saw. You tweeted it out a few times, I'm sure.
It made noise and it did things.
Fouled off, and it's 0-2 to Josh Donaldson.
Basically, you know, we're doing the same thing. We're killing time, to be honest with you. I mean, catch up on some phone calls or check what. Actually, I was checking in to see if my house was floating out in the South Hills. I thought I saw it coming down the right field line about 8:15.
You had a little water in there today.
We got pounded out there, and I got knocked around in my house, but a lot of people had got hit worse in the South Hills.
0-2 pitch is low, blocked by Martin, keeping crisp at first base.
But the good thing is tonight we got a real good chance of having a ball hit in the river, because it's right out in back of second base. I think the banks of the Allegheny somehow held it, but got a wet surface, and there's going to be some wet baseballs fielded in the outfield.
We're glad you're with us here watching late night baseball from PNC Park. 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2. Brandon Moss, first baseman for the A's. Last night, his 2-run home run won it. And a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 4th off of Garrett Cole. Hit a changeup off of Cole. Talked to Brandon for quite a while in the clubhouse today, and he was really impressed with Cole. He was lucky that he guessed right on the change.
And that was it. 2-run homer for them, 1-run homer for us. That was it.
He was super impressed, had a lot of good things to say about Garrett Cole. He also talked very highly about Jeff Locke, who they saw in game 1. 2-2 pitch. Outside, to count is full to Josh Donaldson, the third baseman. He was telling me, he said, you know, Locke's got 91, 92 miles an hour, but he's mowing them down. He goes, we were very impressed in our dugout with what he had to do.
He makes quality pitches.
Jonas Cespedes in the on-deck circle. Fielder for the A's. Here's the pitch. Just missed. Russell Martin held it there, thinking that was strike 3. And Alfonso Marquez calls it ball 4. And now 2 men on with 1 out. And Russell Martin disagreeing with the home plate umpire. We have the benefit of getting a chance to look at it again.
And he's hearing it from the Pirate dugout, as you might expect. It's a 50-50 deal, and the A's get the call.
Alfonso Marquez calling the balls and strikes. Scott Barry is the umpire at first. Mike DeMuro at second base, and the crew chief Wally Bell is at third. So 2 on, 1 out, top of the first inning. And Cespedes at the plate, a .224 hitter. He has 15 homers. He's driven in 42, batting cleanup for Oakland.
And speaking of Garrett Cole last night, he was in the first inning jam and got out of it. Pretty good job to get his feet on the ground in that start last night, and then he pitched extremely well after that. If I'm not mistaken, the last 3 innings for Garrett, he faced the minimum 9 batters with the help of a double play.
Liriano's 1-0 to Cespedes. Ball is going to stay fair, it appears. Liriano got him with the tag, and now with the run held up. That's Coco Crisp. He's out. A double play.
There. That's what we've been waiting for. Something spatial.
Well, the A's make the last out at third base. Going to the bottom of the first when we come back. Across the A's. A double play here as Liriano makes a nice tag as he gathers up the baseball real quickly. And Crisp dead to right, so it's 1 unassisted right here on the putout.
That was a drive-by, and the thing is that ball had a lot of English. It started out in foul territory, and Liriano did not quit on it. It had a lot of English that brought it back into fair territory, and Crisp is crisply fried. There's the drive-by.
Starling Marte will lead off now as Liriano gave up a leadoff single to Crisp. That was all the A's got, so no score. Bottom of the first. Marte hitting .288 for the Pirates. 9 home runs and 27 runs batted in. 0-1 pitch. Marte shows bunt. Takes a pitch inside, 1-1. Marte has 101 hits. Here's the pitch. It's 1-2. Tommy Malone, his first appearance against the Pirates in his career.
Not Sam Malone from Cheers. This is Tommy. 8 wins, 13 wins his first year with Oakland last year. coming over.
Marte, ground ball into the hole. Lowry, a long throw, no chance. Base hit. Buckos with the leadoff man aboard. Let's take a look now at the Toyota lineup for the Pirates. Just saw Marte with a base hit. Jose Tabata to follow. Andrew McCutchen in the cleanup spot tonight against the lefty is Russell Martin. Pedro Alvarez moves back to the 5th spot. Tied for 2nd in the National League with 23 home runs. Gabby Sanchez, Jordy Mercer at 2nd, Barmes at short, and Liriano hitting 9th. Against Tommy Malone and Starling Marte with 28 steals. One of the major's leading thieves on the base paths. Now Jose Tabata with nobody out and a man aboard. A .302 average to start the night.
Yeah, and what you need to do is string together a bunch of hits. You can't always depend on the home run. I mean, that's it's wonderful when it happens, but you're not going to make a living winning by home runs. You're going to putting innings together that give you more than one run.
Strike one to Jose. Now, since Jose has come off the disabled list, he started each of the last 7 games. Tonight is 8th in a row. He's gone 10 for 25 with 3 doubles since coming off the disabled list. That's a .400 average. 0-1 pitch. There goes Marte. The throw down. Got him. Derek Norris guns down Starling Marte, and there's 1 out.
Yep, Norris has had good numbers, and he got some help from his pitcher, and there was kind of a tag on the way by. Got a little bit of a flyer on the first base side, but tagged on the backside, and apparently in time, says Mike DeMuro.
Boy, where he caught that ball, he was lucky to keep control of it.
Yep.
He almost squeezed it right out, and right after that, Tabata goes down looking. So Brant Green in his 2nd major league game catches one on the heel and somehow hangs on to it.
Yeah, you can see where it is, back on the hand, back. And usually, if you catch it like that, and there's any kind of contact from the runner, it's just going to dribble out.
Derek Norris, who catches when left-handers pitch. John Jaso catches when right-handers pitch. There's definite platoon system that Bob Melvin has. And tonight you'll see mostly right-handed batters in the lineup for Oakland.
Norris has been better at dealing with base stealers than Jaso. And Malone involved in that trade with Washington that bought Gio Gonzalez over from Oakland to Washington, and Gio Gonzalez was a 5-1 winner over the Phillies tonight with the Nats winning that game.
Phillies been sneaking up behind the Nationals. Washington needs some separation. Washington in 2nd place in the East, Philadelphia in 3rd. Atlanta,
yep. They beat Cliff Lee tonight.
Yep. McCutchen looks at a strike. It's 3-1.
You were mentioning the pregame show. Malone has given up 19 home runs. That's among the National League leaders. This is outside there.
Ball 4, 2-out walk issued to McCutchen.
And we're on the subject. His 13-win season included 24 home runs, so he's a little vulnerable in the long ball department.
Well, again, 19 so far, and he's allowed the most home runs before the All-Star break for an Oakland A's, since Gil Heredia allowed 21 before the break in 2001. Also, right-handed hitters have 16 home runs out of the 19 he's given up. Martin batting cleanup tonight. And lets that one go for a strike. Bottom of the 1st inning. If you just tuned in, this is not a rebroadcast. This is the live game.
This is it.
McCutchen off of 1st, and a pitch to Martin. Cespedes will run under it, make the catch, and we'll head to the 2nd inning at PNC Park. when we come back. Pirates nothing, Oakland nothing.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
No score. Athletics and Pirates, top of the second inning at PNC Park. Staying up late on Wednesday night. That's all right.
School's out
tomorrow.
Yeah, school's out.
Take a look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. The National League leaders in strikeouts per 9 innings since Liriano came off the DL on May 11th. Matt Harvey of the Mets on top of the list, and Matt Latos of Cincinnati. Liriano third. Edinson Volquez and Shelby Miller. Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better.
Liriano, the last time the A's saw Liriano, he struck out 15 of them last summer. Career high.
Nate Fryman takes outside. Fryman, the first baseman. Fryman out of Duke University. 277 hitter. 2 balls, no strikes to Fryman.
Liriano, 29 years old, 6'2", 215. That might be a tad light for Nelson. He's a big boy of San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic, and gets the call on that low fastball. Well, not the fastball, but he got the call anyway. Checking the mileage.
Liriano's 2-1. Now it's 2-2. First time Fryman has faced Francisco Liriano.
No stranger to the A's. This is career start number 13 against Oakland. He's 3-4 overall.
And he got him. Strikeout number 2 for Liriano. 1 down in the Oakland second.
See Russell sitting inside, comes down and in, and there again, one of those pitches that when he's downstairs, he's got 3 different deliveries he can show you underneath the strike zone, and there must be something that's tempting because he gets a lot of swings and misses at balls down underneath that strike area.
Right fielder Chris Young will take a strike.
And there's nothing wrong with trying to make a living as a pitcher around the knees. Nothing at all.
187 average for Young through 57 games. He has managed to hit 8 out of the ballpark, and he finds himself behind in the count 0-2 quickly to Liriano. So 1 out, base is empty, and an 0-2 count on Chris Young.
And we've got some evidence about that great effort he had last year against Oakland.
And he struck out the first 2 men of this inning, 3 in the ball game. And speaking of strikeouts, We go into the Wayback Machine, but not too far. Just last year on the 13th of July, while pitching for the Twins.
Downstairs again, downstairs again, downstairs again. We're just going to do pitch by pitch here. Oh, he went way up high that time. Downstairs again. You get the idea.
They almost ran out of room for the K's at Target Field. People had to improvise.
Probably happy to do that.
2 men out. Derek Norris, the catcher. One thing that's really effective and has been really effective this year for Liriano is his changeup.
Well, if you can have 3 quality pitches instead of 2, or in some cases 1, you're ahead of the game. Fastball, breaking ball, off, changeup, that are all very much above average. Gives you a lot to work with. 61 major league wins for him, 57 losses. I almost think that with his quality, the winning percentage would be higher, but still time to work on that.
That's what they want.
They want the K-man. Hey, what do you say? Big K all the way. Fastball downstairs, down and in.
And Marte will run under this one. Not a strikeout, but it's an out. And Liriano retires Norris and retires the A's in order in the top half of the 2nd inning. Second inning. Bucks and Athletics. No runs yet. All-Star voting isn't over quite yet. You can vote for the final player for each league roster until tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Go to Pirates.com and cast your All-Star Game final vote for the final 2 All-Stars for the game in New York. Vote at Pirates.com or on your mobile phone. National League. Ian Desmond. Freddie Freeman. Freeman, the leader, we understand, in voting at this point in time. And, of course, Yasiel Puig is getting a lot of attention. In the American League, Steve Delabar from Toronto is apparently the leader at this point in time. And some of the other guys, Joaquin Benoit, David Robertson, Tanner Shepherds, and Koji Uehara, all pitchers in the American League.
Can you do a write-in vote on this for Mark Melanson?
No.
What's wrong with that?
Unfortunately.
What's wrong with the system?
Pedro Alvarez at the plate. Ball and a strike to Pedro. Alvarez going to his first All-Star game next week. 0-2 2 strikes to Pedro. Pedro hit the batter's eye last night over the bushes. His 23rd home run. Pedro's in select company, Steve. When you look at what he is doing, 23 home runs before the All-Star break. Only 2 other Pirates in the history of the franchise have done that. Willie Stargell did it twice. And Ralph Kiner was the other.
It is good company.
That refers to David Wright, the captain of the National League team that did the picking. Deep at first base, Fryman goes on to Malone, and there's 1 out.
Interesting, though, that Gene Collier, who I have a lot of respect for, I think he's a great writer in the Post-Gazette, had a column about that they should thank David Wright for not messing up your swing and getting that sort of thing. So he made a case for the fact that it might have done Pedro a favor. Just a different take on it.
Yeah, there's 2 schools of thought on that, and Clint Hurdle got into a discussion in his office with us the other day about it. He's seen it go both ways. He's seen it where guys' production has tailed off after competing in the home run derby, and he's seen it where it's stayed the same or gotten better. So I guess it just depends on the individual player.
So it was all him last night. I don't think we've scored more than 1 run in a game since the Furries left. I really don't. And who knows if they're really all gone.
Well, Pirates looking to score more than 1 tonight. No score. We're in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Gabby Sanchez, 233 hitter. Sanchez had a pinch hit appearance last night and ended up striking out in the 7th inning. Looking. Tapper off his foot. That's a foul ball. Ball came off his foot pretty hard, went all the way out to Donaldson. Off the shin. Ouch. It's good reason to jump up and down. Ball 2 strikes to Gabby Sanchez. 1 out, base is empty. And the left-hander Tommy Malone delivers. And Gabby hits a looper to short right field. Coming on is Young. He'll make the catch. 2 men out. Chris Young, part of that platoon. Depending on if they're facing a right-hander or a left-hander. Josh Reddick was in right field last night, but they do get a chance to get Reddick in at another position occasionally as a designated hitter in the American League, but they lose that position here in these National League ballparks.
Well, they've done pretty well with that system.
Jordy Mercer. 2 outs, 1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch. And that is in for a strike. Coming up in the top of the 3rd, Steve, a special guest going to join us. Tommy Malone, the wind and the 1-1. And Jordy fouls it off, 1 and 2.
Got my look-alike program going with Tommy Malone and the former Cubs pitcher Ken Holtzman. Kenny pitched for the A's, yeah. And Kenny had a no-hitter.
1-2 pitch. And Mercer lines it to left field, a base hit. 2-out single for Jordy. And the Pirates with a base runner. Now Clint Barmas will come up next.
Good piece of hitting, down and in, got the body out of the way. He'll hit the left.
Well, Barmas playing shortstop and Mercer over at second base with Neil Walker on the disabled list. So here's Barmas. .206 hitter. Just a couple of home runs and 10 runs batted in for Barmes.
Last night, a couple knocks for Clint. 2 nights ago.
Friday night, he had a single and a double, went 2 for 4. Last night, he went 0 for 1 with a walk and then was pinch hit for in the 8th inning. So Neil Walker having to sit out the next little while. He'll be back after the All-Star break. Soreness in his right side has put him on the shelf. Yesterday, the Pirates calling up Josh Harrison to take his spot on the roster. So Walker trying to get healthy. And one thing that frustrated Neil more than anything last year was the injury at the end of the season. He wanted to be out there more than anybody. Second DL stint for him this year. He had the hand problem. Barmes hits one over the head of the second baseman Green in the right center field. Mercer around second. He's into third. And the Pirates with runners at the corners.
Just a little flare out of the reach of Green, and Mercer off with contact with 2 outs. Sliding around to third base. Didn't get all of it, but got enough to get the lift just over the glove of Grant Green. Mercer got no reason to hang around first base or second.
Back-to-back 2-out hits. Now Francisco Liriano coming up. 2 hits in 20 at-bats for him. That's a 100 average. Just to save you from doing the easy math. We'll see what Liriano can do with the bat if he can help his own cause. No score. Bottom of the second inning.
There's no law against it. Give yourself a chance. Shorten up. Put the ball in play.
There is a strike. Mentioned a little bit ago, we've got a special guest coming up top of the 3rd inning. Saturday Night Live's Seth Meyers will join us in the booth.
Weekend update.
Yes, sir. Our top story tonight.
Rain.
Long rain delay.
So far.
Maybe we'll do an episode of Really?
Really?
Maybe we'll do that. Hope it's not a 1-2-3 inning. 1-1 pitch. And this one is fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Francisco Liriano. 2 on, 2 out.
Many times you'll say, well, okay, yeah, now this gets the pitcher out of the way so you can start fresh next inning. But, you know, when you got runners on first and third, use a pitcher. It is a chance to help yourself out, help your ball club out, help yourself out. Get your money's worth.
Malone set. Now the 1-2 to Liriano. Got a piece of it. Now keep in mind, when Liriano was drafted originally, he was an outfielder. So he was a position player at one point, and then.
But there was a reason he became a pitcher, too.
Yeah, typically guys can hit their way into being a pitcher.
Yep.
Derek Cole and Jeff Karstens keeping an eye on Liriano at the plate. 1-2 again. And he struck out. So the Pirates leave 2, get 2 hits. We'll head to the 3rd. Seth Meyers will join us in the booth when we come back to PNC Park. No score. This 3-game series, top of the third. And joining us in the booth from Saturday Night Live, Seth Meyers. Seth, look at the time. Really?
I stuck around, you guys. I stuck around. You know, I think a lot of people are saying this year there are some fair weather Pirates fans, but I wanted to show I'd stay through the worst weather.
Well, you work the late shift anyway.
I'm going to work, whatever, hour and a half from now.
Yeah, that's right.
On a normal night.
It's no problem for you. You have family around here?
My dad grew up in East Liberty. Sliberty for people from around here. But so my dad's a lifelong Pirates fan, and when we decided we'd come out here, this is my first time at PNC.
Let me ask you about this. Did it make you feel a little bit at home, or maybe at work, when the Pirates were introduced to the Saturday Night Live style intro, which is getting a lot of play around the country?
An incredible intro. The guys did a great job. It turns out it's very hard to not be awkward when you have to stare at the camera like that.
Popped up to McCutchen, and Grant Green is out, and he is now 0 for 4 as a major leaguer. Just kind of give us your thoughts on this as it goes by.
Jose did good. I'm assuming, and then you see we have some local stuff. I'm assuming that's Permanis there with the egg.
Number 22.
Andrew's one of my favorites.
He looks like, he could be a cast member.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way he faked it really well.
It's good. You know, they tell you this. Russell knows what he's doing because he looks away and then comes to the camera. You don't want to be looking at the camera the whole time.
They've got it down.
They did a great job.
They got it. Well, what brings you to town? Just visiting family, or you got something else going on?
I was talking to my dad. He hasn't been to Pittsburgh for a long time, and we just decided to make a trip of it. And since we're only here for a night, we decided we'd have to sit through a 2-hour rain delay.
Well, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes, but who's counting?
2 hours and 50 minutes. I dozed off.
Well, you have a new gig.
I do, starting February 24th. I'm going to have a late night show, Late Night with Seth Meyers, which should be exciting.
You'll be up even later. Well, the pitcher Malone hits it off of Liriano, and Mercer will throw him out.
And that's a bad play by Liriano, because he made a play against the Cubs the other day where he reached around in back of himself and caught the ball between his legs, going with the glove around the back of his body. Now, see, he's lost a step here.
Yeah. Well, he said there's a couple of interesting plays already today.
The deflection works, especially when you got the pitcher running.
I know that helps too.
Yeah.
We talked about the camera before. Your preference, in front of the camera or writing?
Well, I like both. I would never want to be in front of the camera where I didn't have some of the control about writing. And I've been really lucky to have a job. Saturday Night Live is one of the best jobs as far as doing both. So hopefully I can bring that over into my new gig.
Now, you grew up about 15 minutes from where I grew up. We just found out.
Very exciting.
You're from Bedford, New Hampshire. I'm from Nashua, New Hampshire, and my high school used to just beat up on your high school all the time.
Yeah, I thought that was more of an off-camera thing. I didn't think we were going to talk about that.
But it's true. The statistics are
true.
He's been waiting since 3 o'clock.
I've been waiting for that since.
Only when you meet somebody from Bedford can you brag about being from Nashua.
That's right.
It's a very rare opportunity for you, so I'm going to let you have it.
That's right. But growing up in that area of the woods, Red Sox fan?
Yeah, I grew up a big Red Sox fan. The first game I ever went to was at Three Rivers. But the Red Sox are my true love. But the Pirates are my first love, and it will be really exciting to see this season go the way it's been going.
You know, us rich kids down in Connecticut, we never went to New Hampshire.
Oh boy, here we go. The hits keep coming. You guys not know how to be nice hosts? I'm a guest here.
You are a guest. We're taking good care of you. There's a guy you should write into it.
The parrot?
Something you should write into Saturday night.
Yeah.
You got to get the parrot up there. Coco Crisp in and out of the glove of Pedro Alvarez, throwing it first, and it's too late. And Pedro Alvarez, that must have stung.
Well, the ball hit that hard. If you don't get it in the right part of the glove, you can have a thumb problem. You can have or you can just have a problem. And that seemed to be just a problem. And he has been playing a very strong third base recently. So he is not happy about that. And usually his strong arm, if he has time, he can just recover from some plays like that and get an out, but not against that kind of speed.
Batter now, Jed Lowry. Lowry takes outside. Now, when you write, just say weekend update. When do you start that? You must love scouring the news and then figuring all the ways you can twist it into the way that you write.
It's great, but we have found SNL, it's better for us if a story sort of happens Wednesday, Thursday, you know, if it happens Monday, Tuesday, it turns out by the time Saturday rolls around, all the other shows have had their fair shot at it. There's not much left to talk about. So it's funny how much the timing matters. But, you know, an election year like last year was great.
That's always good material.
Yes.
Isn't it? Now, what about in the summer? And you probably pick up the paper, read the story, some big story, and you're like, oh, boy, I had something for this. But you guys are on hiatus.
Yes. The fact that Elliot Spitzer and Anthony Weiner are both running for office again in New York makes me want to be at work pretty much every day.
Well, with your new show, you will not have as long of a hiatus.
No, we'll get to be on every night of the week, so that'll be really fun. I don't think we'll miss anything that way.
Will there be any SNL influence in that program? Can you bring anything with you?
We're going to try to bring. I mean, I think we're going to be shooting pretty much on the same floor. We'll be shooting on the 8th floor of 30 Rock, so I think we'll be pulling people in as often as possible. You're going to get to fill an hour every night. You're going to ask a lot of favors.
Yeah. That's good. It's good that you're taking over for a buddy of yours.
Yes. So I'm very lucky to have a buddy who's so successful that he moved up an hour.
Again, another one off of Liriano, and Alvarez the throw, and that gets away. And this is a bit of trouble. Crisp will go to third. He'll hold there. And now with 2 outs, the A's have runners at the corners.
Secure the baseball. Get a stick and beat it to death so it stops moving.
I feel like I should say every one of these plays are the plays I made in Little League, so I feel like I'm somehow influencing.
I mean, you don't see too many deflections off the pitcher where you can get a couple outs in a given inning, so I guess we were due to not have it happen.
Error on the throw on Alvarez. That is how Jed Lowry reaches. Crisp going first to third once he realized what was going on.
This might be a naive question, but when you're doing weekend updates and that sort of thing, do you ever go back in the archives and study styles or look at that kind of thing?
I grew up watching the show, so I think I was influenced just by watching. You don't want to study it too much because then you find you're just imitating. Yeah. But I certainly, back Dennis Miller and Norm Macdonald were guys that were sort of my favorites at the job.
Yep. Dennis, a Pittsburgh native.
Pittsburgh's own.
Did you ever, when you started doing Weekend Update, did you ever get any advice from the original guy, Chevy Chase?
I've met Chevy. I didn't really get as much advice from Chevy, but he's always been really supportive.
Jordy Mercer bobbles up and throws him out.
All right.
Out of time, Seth.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. Great meeting you, and good luck with the new show.
Thank you.
Looking forward to staying up watching it after games.
And if you ever make it to Bedford, do not look me up.
Okay.
February 24th.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Seth. Seth Meyers from Saturday Night Live. No score. Middle of the third inning.
Walk for commissioner. I'm not sure what they're thinking. I'm Robbie Ince-Mikowski. Well, the Pirates, they have a deep farm system and a lot of prospects, and 2 of them made their debuts recently with the Gulf Coast League Pirates, and that's Austin Meadows and Reese McGuire, the 2 first-round picks that just signed. Meadows with his professional debut yesterday, and there's Reese McGuire doing a nice job so far. And Jacoby Jones off to a hot start with the Jamestown Jammers, 13 for 32. His OPS is over 1,000. And you look at Jacoby Jones, General Manager Neil Huntington said the one thing that's benefited Jacoby Jones, Tim and Steve, with this quick start is he played late into the College World Series, eliminated in the semifinals at LSU, so he just kind of kept on going right from his college season into his start to his pro career. So hopefully got a few more prospects coming up the pipeline.
Yeah, and that's a great name. Great baseball name.
You like it?
Yeah.
How about Blake Taylor? That's a good one.
Sure.
He's going to make his debut Saturday, 3rd-round pick, so they're signing. I mean, I like this new system, Steve, with the new deal with the draft and getting the guys in earlier and signing them earlier, getting them so they don't basically lose out on a whole season. Because the way it used to be is that a guy wouldn't sign, they were a top pick anyway. They'd wait till the last day in mid-August, and essentially your season's over.
Yep, negotiate back and forth.
That's good. Thanks again to Seth Meyers for joining us. Saturday Night Live. Looking forward to his new show, February 24th, coming up, replacing Jimmy Fallon.
A couple of New Hampshire natives.
You felt lonely, didn't you, Steve? You just felt different, didn't you?
No, yeah. Down in Connecticut, we don't really spend too much time about New Hampshire.
I know, it's the Constitution state. Granite State, we look down on Connecticut. 2-2 pitch. Marte fouls it off. Well, literally, that's just geography, that's all.
Yeah, live free or die. What kind of a license plate is that? I mean,
it's a good one.
Or die? What if you're just a little bit free?
Well, I think they're
just get hurt.
I think they're just making a point. You don't really have to die.
Yeah, well, I see it on all those cars.
Marte rips it into left field, a base hit. He is 2 for 2. Leadoff single for Marte, and the Pirates trying to get something going. A hustle double for Marte. That's double number 17.
Why not
took
push
advantage of Cespedes, who just assumed a single.
Why not push it? You got the play in front of you. Not much happening offensively. Long way to come for Cespedes. He didn't do all that bad a job. It was just controlled aggression by Starling Marte. Looked like he had that on his mind from the time he left home plate.
Boy, can he fly. 103 hits now for Marte. Talada will square around, and there's the bunt down foul.
How refreshing would it be to hit for about 20 minutes? Clear the air. The air cleared from the rain. Let's clear the air from the offensive doldrums.
Jose struck out in the first. Pitch on the way from Malone. Jose takes strike 2. You got the time? Just curious.
You got the money?
No, I mean, what time is it?
Okay, I got the time. You got the money.
Just checking. Get her done. No balls, 2 strikes. Talbot fishes this one fine. They say get her done. And a lot of people don't know this, but in the radio booth we have an autographed picture of Larry the Cable Guy saying, "Get her done, Buccos."
Get her done. Yep. I know, last year, I think it was a couple of years ago, Greg and I went up to see the Blue Collar Tour. Had a lot of fun. That would be at the old Igloo.
0-2 pitch to the gap. Coco Crisp on the run. He won't get it. That's going to go down to the bullpen. Around third and scoring is Marte, and in with an RBI double is Jose Tabla. Bucks on the board first. It's 1-0.
I think I prefer that as opposed to the bunt to play for a run, because it worked out this time. And that had gap shot written all over it when it left the bat. Maybe we can hit for 20 minutes. That'd be fun.
Double after double.
Yeah, maybe it's an outfield kind of an inning, as you have the left fielder, right fielder, and center fielder working the home plate area for the Bucks here in the bottom of the third.
Andrew McCutchen walked his first time up. No balls and 1 strike.
Kutch owns Pittsburgh.
Owns Pittsburgh.
Never seen that one before. Kutch owns that All-Star label for the 3rd time. That's a good thing to own.
Nothing into to Kutch.
A very good athlete, a very popular athlete in Pittsburgh, Andrew McCutchen.
Nothing into to McCutchen. Bottom of the third, 1-0 Pirates. Jose Tabla at second base. RBI double. Getting Marte around, and now McCutchen trying to do the same. Takes up high, 1-2.
You just have the feeling that the Pirates are going to break out. I mean, it's a slump, and it's just it gets people's attention simply because of the last 2 years. If they hadn't happened, it would be a slump. And you leave it at that, they're going to break out. But there has been backdrop.
1 ball, 2 strike offering from Tommy Malone coming to McCutchen. Inside. It's 2-2. One for 2 with runners in scoring position tonight. That's 500, but bigger sample size for the season, just 228.
Yep. You can't do anything about those previous numbers in that category. So tonight's a new night.
McCutchen a base hit. Tabla's getting waved home. Jose Tabla will score without a throw. It is 2-0. An RBI base hit for McCutchen, his 47th run batted in.
Nice at bat for Andrew. Okay, there's the first 5 or 6, 7 minutes. You got 13 more minutes to hit for 20 minutes. It's kind of slicing it downstairs, getting the hands out in front, but leaving the bat back a little bit. And he hit it just soft enough to give Jose time to get around. If he hits it a lot harder, they're probably going to have to hold him up with nobody out, but in he comes.
McCutchen at second base. Kurt Young, pitching coach, out to have a word. While we have just a second, we wish a happy 35th birthday to one of our button pushers in the truck, Chuck Whitlow. The one and only button pusher down there. Every time you see a camera switch from that shot to that shot, from that shot to whatever the next shot's going to be, that's Chucky doing it. Happy birthday, Chucky.
Working the buttons.
He's down on the trailer. They've been in the trailer a long time tonight. Go to first base, and back is McCutchen.
Since we're on the birthday list, happy 66th birthday to Robin Dick, a great Pirate fan out in the North Hills. Happy birthday, Robin. Glad you're sticking with your Buccos.
2-0 Bucks, and Russell Martin a swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike.
Hey, birthday.
It's her birthday too.
That's the way to celebrate a birthday. Come to the yard.
Only for another hour and 5 minutes or so. Hour and 7.
It seems so long a day. Maybe they already had one earlier in the day. And this might be birthday number 2.
May as well continue the celebration into the morning. We will be doing that for sure. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Might want to come to the pool party in my basement of my house after the rain.
Yeah, we understand you have a new in-ground pool. Indoors too.
We've had some issues, but as I said earlier, a lot of people had bigger issues. It was nasty in the South Hills today. Nasty. I mean, untravelable in a lot of areas. So folks are getting it back together.
2 balls and a strike to Russell Martin. 3 straight hits to start the inning. A double by Marte, a double by Tabata, and a base hit by McCutchen. Andrews at first base, and the lefty Malone ready to go. 2-1 to Martin. 3 balls and a strike.
Nice to see an extended half inning for the Pirates. The bottom half of a half inning.
Three-1 pitch. In for a strike, and the count is full. Nobody out in a full count. Even though there's nobody out, do you think about getting Andrew on the move here?
He's going to probably come in the strike zone. His control has been outstanding.
Pedro Alvarez in the on-deck circle. Here's the payoff pitch to Martin. Nope, it'll be a throw to first base instead. And the front leg of Malone was either very close to or maybe over that imaginary line.
Oh, they can get away with unbelievable things. Left-hander.
That is
that could be called a balk.
That's surprising. That's not a balk.
Well,
very surprising.
It could be. They don't do it all the time.
You're supposed to basically go straight over, right?
Yeah, you know, if they can get away with it, they'll keep doing it. The interesting thing to me is nobody argues balks anymore. We used to scream at the umpire. What did I do? He said, you balked. What did I do? You balked. And it would go back and forth like that until he threw you out.
He didn't have a good answer for you.
It was good enough for him.
And fouls it back, and McCutchen staying put, both 3-2 pitches. Marte 2 for 2, another multi-hit game for Starling. Multi-hit game number 32, tied with Alan Craig of St. Louis now, and Gene Segura of Milwaukee for 4th in the National League in multi-hit efforts.
The 2 principals there in the Pirate dugout, double-double, start the bottom of the 3rd.
Here comes the 3-2 again to Russell Martin. Nope, throw to first. And again, the foot, it comes down closer on the home plate side rather than straight to first.
They did call a balk. All the fans call a balk here.
And that one wasn't as pronounced as the first one.
Yeah, they'll allow that one. That one will not get called ever.
Throw it back.
And now the fans don't care whether it's a balk or not. They're tired. They want the Pirates to win so they can go home and go to bed. Just
a lot of umpires here tonight.
Well, also the Pirate dugout barking. Really barking that they want a balk call.
Clint Hurdle asking Alfonso Marquez to just watch it, to watch and watch the leg, and Marquez conversing back
with some pretty good volume.
Ground ball to short. Lowry flips to second for one, and Martin beats it out. And that's all he's going to get. He might have had a little contact with Fryman on the way by.
Or maybe got stepped on.
Looks like Martin's in a little bit of pain.
He's still recovering from last night.
Let's see what that contact was. If there was any. Hard to see from that angle. Certainly Russell a little bit lame. Reaching for that right ankle. Might have been the way he hit the bag.
Ball is not secured, and he gets second base.
Pedro at the plate. Alvarez 0 for 1 tonight. One of 4 Pirate All-Stars. For Martin, continuing to move the legs. Doesn't seem too comfortable with his right leg. One ball and 1 strike.
You don't want to have anything serious happen to Russell Martin. He has been such a big part of this early season success, mid-season success for the Pirates. You might want to use the word anchor, glue. He's been a lot of good things for the Bucs so far.
Hot shot to right center field. This is going to get Martin around. He's coming in. It's 3-0 Pirates.
Pedro Alvarez hitting left-handers and hitting them at a pretty good clip. That ball hard hit, found the hole, died in right center. The Pirates had him. Here goes Russell.
Russell a little gingerly running, and now Pedro a solid RBI. It's his 59th.
He hits the ball hard.
Well, finally, the Bucs have put together an inning this series. 4 hits in the inning, 1 out, and 1 on still.
Have we hit for 20 minutes yet? We're close to it.
Getting close to it. Russell Martin appears to be okay. It'll take a little bit more than a sore leg to keep him out. He's a little frustrated by it at this point, though.
Yeah, it's enough you have the usual wear and tear for a catcher during the course of a season. You don't need the extra stuff.
A strike is called to Sanchez, and the count 0-2. Well, 21-3. Getting 3 or more hits with runners in scoring position. Pirates have 3 hits already. We're still very early in the game, just the 3rd inning.
I'll tell you, the people that write those opens when we touch on these sensitive areas, almost all the time, those areas are improved after we address them. Activity in the bullpen?
Yep. Yeah. Got Neshek warming up.
Let's hope we don't see Twitchy tonight. Balfour. He makes me nervous.
Gabby stays alive. Yeah, I like your nickname for him.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got, what he used to say, he's got more moves than Mae West.
Hopefully we don't have to see him tonight, but it's Neshek warming up now, the sidewinder.
That's not conventional either. So we've toned it down a notch, but not completely.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Gabby Sanchez with Alvarez at first base. Two and two. Tommy Milone didn't allow a home run in his last start against Kansas City, but in each of his 8 starts prior to that, he allowed at least 1. There's a total of 12 home runs hit in his prior 8 starts before his last one Friday against Kansas City.
Nice take on the last 2 pitches. Breaking balls that weren't good pitches to hit. Gabby stays alive. Okay, there's one good take.
Payoff pitch, runner goes, and that is ball 4.
Nice at bat for Gabby. Just extended it, stayed alive. Second walk. And we were talking about the great control of Milone. He better be careful because Straley pitched very well yesterday and got sent down. I mean, there's no wiggle room for these A's pitchers. He pitched a whale of a ball game.
70 pitches, and we're not out of the 3rd inning yet. But the reason Straley got sent down was not because he didn't pitch well. Bob Melvin and the A's don't need a 5th starter for a while. You look at their schedule, they only need 4 starters.
And the Pirates might find themselves considering that kind of situation. With some off days involved in the All-Star break.
So they don't need a 5th starter to the 23rd of July. So that's why they want him to go down and get another start in a rotation in AAA. Keep him pitching rather than let him sit. And Cole is in that same situation right now in terms of schedule, but Clint Hurdle saying they're going to have a discussion to see what they're going to do to start the second half. Usually at the All-Star break, you might retool your rotation because you have those days off. Everybody's rested, and you have an opportunity to reset the rotation. And Pirates don't need a 5th starter until the 23rd of July also. You get the off day tomorrow, and then you get 4 days at the All-Star break. So we'll see what the Bucks decide to do.
I'd like to see Jordy catch a gap here and watch these guys fly around the base paths.
Jordy is 1 for 1.
We don't have great speed, but if you catch a gap, it could be a lot of fun. Pedro and Gabby. Good to see the white shirts on the base paths.
Haven't seen the white shirts in a while. Literally, the Pirates have been wearing the black tops for, I don't know, 5 or 6 straight games, it seems. 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jordy Mercer.
And Tommy Milone laboring here in the 3rd inning. Clint getting ready.
Three runs on 7 hits. 4 of those 7 coming here in the bottom of the 3rd inning against Tommy Milone. Pirates have won 8 of the last 10 interleague games. They're 11-5 in interleague play overall this season. And this is not the last interleague game of the season. Pirates have 3 more, and they're on the road in Texas in September. September 9th, 10th, and 11th in Arlington. And those may be games that the Oakland A's will be watching closely because Texas chasing them by half a game in the standings currently in the American League West. And that could be a very, very big series at that time of the year for the A's. And, of course, obviously for the Pirates.
Well, the Pirates trying to break some scar tissue on two fronts. Finally beat the Oakland A's and beat Mr. Malone, who has never lost an interleague start.
He is 3-0 in 4 interleague starts.
Let's get rid of both of those items.
Taps this one foul.
And Jordy trying to hasten the departure of Malone, who's now running a pretty substantial pitch count. Still working in the third.
Well, it's only 8:07 where the Oakland A's hail from.
Well, usually 11 o'clock I have to take my medications. But
well, if you need to leave, Steve,
just a little late for that. Yeah.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Mercer. Now, you going to wait till after the game to take him? Because I'm afraid of what might happen if you take him during the game.
I don't really know, because I don't know if the places I take my medications are still open.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you took him before the game or not. But
no, we'll adjust. It's a night for adjusting.
Here comes the 2-2 to Mercer. 1 out, 2 on for the Buccos. The pitch. Jordy having an at bat.
Work him, Jordy.
So the next pitch to Jordy Mercer will be the 10th of the at bat.
And pitch number 80. Thrown by Malone.
Up and away have been most of the pitches. Down the left field line and racing over is Cespedes. 2 men out. So Jordy, after a long at bat, flies out to Yoenis Cespedes. And that's going to do it for Tommy Malone. Bob Melvin makes his way out to get him. And he'll go to the sidewinder Neshek to face Clint Barmas. So Malone's night finishes, well, early is relative at this time of the night. 2 outs for the Pirates with a 3-0 lead. Everybody's different. And Neshek definitely has a different approach.
He'll offer the glove to you right there. He'll put the ball in it, tap the feet a couple times, and then uncoil.
Thomas rips this one foul past the rain tarp. The well-used rain tarp. Well, that's a long run.
And does he come to a stop in his pre-delivery routine? I can't really comment on that because I never did. I never got called on it either. If you do something often enough, it gets the umpires just get numb to it. Okay.
Popped up. Fair ground. Neshek getting out of the way as the third baseman Donaldson comes in and makes the catch. Buccos put 3 on the board on 4 hits, 2 left. After 3, it's 3-0 Pirates. Nothing lead for Pittsburgh. It was a Tabata with an RBI double after Marte led the inning off with a double. So now a 3-run lead for Liriano to work with.
I want to welcome the group from Uniglobe Ohio Valley Travel Group. They were down at the Clementi Museum all afternoon, and they are here at the ballpark, and they have stayed to watch the Pirates take control of this ball game. Good bunch of folks. Had a good time with it.
Strike call to Cespedes. For 1 tonight. So this one well to center field on the run. McCutchen against the wall makes the catch. A leaping grab by Andrew McCutchen. Terrific play by the 3-time All-Star center fielder.
There is a true example of a center fielder confident in his ability to go back. The ball had a lot of charge, a lot of carry to it. But we've got a man out there that can handle it with his neon glove.
Fryman takes inside for a ball. Fryman struck out swinging to start the second inning. Andrew McCutchen taking one away that was hit 399 feet away from the plate. And would have hit up against the center field wall.
I like that glove. It's
a good glove.
It is, and it's very, very stylish, yet understated.
matches the rest of his uniform. Black and gold. Good hop for Alvarez. 2 down. Fryman is out. He's 0 for 2. And the right fielder Chris Young was 0 for 1, also a strikeout victim of Liriano. Buccos have an off day tomorrow. Pirates Charities Golf Tournament tomorrow taking place. The players and staff will be over there raising a bunch of money for charity. And back at it Friday when the Mets come in. Last series of the first half. Line shot over the head of Barmes for a base hit, and Young is aboard with 2 outs. Those are a lot of the players' wives out there. You see Kelly Alvarez with the El Toro hat on. They did a great job last night with the Root Sports Pirates Charities auction. Cassie Jones with Jackson. Jackson's up late tonight. Jackson gets to sit behind Batman. Did you notice? I wonder he's awake. The players' wives having some fun. And of course, Cassie Jones wearing the G.I. Jones helmet. To the count to Derek Norris. It's over the Pirate dugout into the seats. Norris 0 for 1. He flied to Marte in the second inning. There you go. Passing the souvenir along. Can't give it away. May as well keep it. Right back to Liriano. 3 outs. No runs, a hit, a man left for Oakland in the top of the 4th inning. Pirates with a 3-0 lead.
Neshek in relief at Tommy Malone on the mound for the Oakland Athletics, and Pat Neshek experienced the best day of his life followed by the worst day of his life in back-to-back days as Neshek left the Oakland Athletics with 2 games remaining in the regular season last year as his wife Stephanie was set to give birth to his son Garrick. Garrick was born, but unfortunately he only lived for 22 hours, less than a day he survived. And Pat Neshek, with the help of his family and also his former teammate Brandon Inge, sat in Florida in their home for a couple days, and they rejoined the team in Detroit where they started the playoff series last year. And Neshek is a guy well loved by his teammates, but it was Brandon Inge who helped get Neshek back to some familiarity and back to normality with baseball as they played in Detroit. And Inge used to play for the Tigers and was his current teammate. Set him up with a doctor that he knows to help Stephanie get some care to make sure she was physically okay after losing the baby 2 days earlier. And Neshek has had an incredible run since then. He has been a regular in the bullpen. He's obviously their long guy, as we see right now. And he and his wife Stephanie are both doing very well mentally and physically. And we're happy to report this guy has had the ability, as his former teammate Francisco Liriano with the Twins rocks a base hit. But Tim and Steve, it's a pretty cool story how the fans in Oakland embraced him after this. He came right back and he pitched in the playoffs and had a successful year. So Pat Neshek has overcome a lot off the baseball field, so that kind of puts it in perspective. Whatever outing he may have on the baseball field will pale in comparison to what he has gone through in the past season with his life.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I can't even conceive of anything like that. So all the best to this young man and his wife. It's unbelievable.
Francisco Liriano, a leadoff single. He is 1 for 2. Now Marte, who is 2 for 2, with a single and a double and a run scored, takes ball 1 inside. Three for 11 in the series. Popped him up. Shallow center. On comes Coco Crisp. There's 1 out for the Pirates in the 4th inning. Marte at 292 prior to that at bat. Still battling to get back to 300. He'd love to be a 300 hitter in his first full season in the big leagues. We've seen him have stretches when he gets hot and then cools off, as most hitters will, but he has piled up some multi-hit games. Jose Tabata, who has played well since coming off the disabled list, has 4 hits in this series. He takes inside for a ball. Three runs on 8 hits for the Pirates. No runs on 4 hits for Oakland. Tabata fouls it off. Now for the A's, they go back home to Oakland. They'll have a day off Thursday, tomorrow, which is in more than a half hour. And then they'll open a series against the Red Sox on Friday at the Coliseum. Strike called at Tabata.
I would think it's quite difficult to really get your timing right against a guy like Neshek, because he not only works from the stretch, but after he gets the ball in the glove, there's a lot of different parts still involved. So he almost goes through a regular windup kind of a situation after he contains the ball. I would think it'd be hard to not be jumpy and expecting the delivery to be a little bit earlier. The ball is placed, and then it goes through a lot of other stuff before it's delivered.
Jed Lowry, the shortstop, flips to Green, back to first, too late. Tabata beats it out. They do get the force at second on the fielder's choice. And Liriano is forced out 6-4. 2 men out. And this is going to bring Andrew McCutchen up again.
Ground ball took a while to get out there to short.
Rolled over on the outside pitch and turned into a ground ball to short. McCutchen 1 for 1 with an RBI. He's also walked.
You know, it's interesting, the rollover, because I know the expression, but nobody says it's a rollover. You hit that ground ball through a hole. It's okay if you roll over.
Yeah, those are the ones that are all right.
He's got to find that separation between the infielders. The rollover hit works.
Hold it. Did not, says Scott Berry.
Oh, Andrew. That's not going to go over too well with the umpire when you. Let's watch Andrew now when he gets the call. He's going to dismiss the umpire. That's that. Are you kidding me?
Rarely see McCutchen do anything like that.
No.
Rarely. Andrew has had hits in 16 of his last 18 ball games. Had a 10-game hitting streak snapped last night. Fouled out of play down the right side. Count stays a ball and 2 strikes to Andrew McCutchen. I say the A's are happy to get this one in here rather than have to stay over and play a day game tomorrow. That was a possible option.
Yep, and then a long flight home. And
plus, they've already checked out of their hotel. They would have had to scramble and get rooms again and stay over one more night. McCutchen to the left center field gap. That gets down around second, and heading for third is Tabata. Another base hit for Andrew McCutchen. He's 2 for 2. Maria, Andrew's girlfriend, likes it.
On the move with 2 outs, over to third base. And now another visit. Kurt Young.
Neshek having a visit. Now a left-hander. Getting going for the A's. Jerry Blevins. Blevins has not appeared in this series yet. Jay Bell going over the reports. If he gets up, chances are he's going to see Blevins. They're probably looking at Blevins right there. Strike to Martin. Also without a hit in this series. Reached on a fielder's choice. With the second on a throwing error by Green, second baseman, and then ended up scoring. And base hit by Alvarez. .240 the average for Martin. And a ground ball base hit. Pirates lead 4-0. Tabata scores.
Adding on, adding on.
Talked about those numbers having to improve with runners in scoring position, and the Pirates now with 4 hits with runners in scoring position, and they've all plated runs.
Nothing fancy about it. I don't think you can say he rolled over on the ball, but he found the hole up the middle. Pirates get the run. And that's going to be it for Neshek.
Bob Melvin's coming out to get the sidewinding right-hander, and he'll go with the left-hander to face Pedro Alvarez. We'll see Jerry Blevins when we come back to PNC Park. Bottom of the 4th, 2 men out. The score, the Pirates 4 and the A's nothing. More wonderful pictures from the AGH camp. Slowing it down for you tonight. Andrew McCutchen 2 for 2. He's standing at second base. He has a run batted in tonight. Pirates with a 4-0 lead. 10 hits. So a night after getting just 3 hits and scoring only 1 run on a solo home run, the Pirates are in double digits in the hit column. Left-hander Jerry Blevins is up with 2 outs to face the lefty Pedro Alvarez.
Lefty's no problem for Pedro these days.
Ball 1 to Pedro. Alvarez with an RBI base hit in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2. 252 his average. That's the highest it's been all season. Takes a strike.
Kind of a roundabout connection with the Pirates for Jeremy Blevins way back in the day. 6 years ago, he was involved with a trade with the Cubs in Oakland involving Jason Kendall. Back in the day.
6 degrees of separation.
Yep.
Inside to Alvarez, 2-1. Look at his average now, 250, hitting in the middle 2s with the power numbers he's got. You're a power hitter, you're going to take that 250 average every day of the week. 1 hit every 4 times up. And he's hitting a home run once every 10 or 12 at bats, somewhere in there. So good frequency. Sonny Gray, who was just called up from AAA Sacramento today to take the spot of Dan Straley in the roster. On the roster rather. He's looking for bullpen help while they don't need a 5th starter.
That's a baseball name, isn't it? Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray. Kind of like the sky sometimes. That's ripped to right field. A base hit. McCutchen flying around 3rd base. He will score. 5-0 Pirates.
Do it, Pedro. Do it. And he beat a shift. He just hit the ball so hard that even if you're close together as infielders, you don't have time to make a move. If you don't have time to make a move, you better be positioned exactly right. He takes that ground ball and just drives it between them.
Talked to Clint Hurdle about Pedro yesterday, and I asked what type of adjustments he's been making, because he's been getting to balls he wasn't getting to early in the season. Clint just said, you know, he's worked real hard. He's figured some things out on his own, and he's really developing and growing as a hitter. Gabby Sanchez takes outside, 1-0. One ball, no strikes to Gabby. Pitches inside. Steve, you mentioned about Pedro. No problem with lefties lately. It's the 3rd time this year he's had 2 hits off of a lefty in a game. So starting to figure out the left-handers better.
Everybody that plays this game wants to be more consistent. And Pedro is more consistent this year.
3 balls and no strikes. Now on the other side of the coin, you're Francisco Liriano. Now you're seeing your team get some hits and some runs for you. What does that do to you for your confidence?
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. He's still got his priorities, but it's nice to have a little wiggle room.
You ever sit in there as a pitcher and breathe a sigh of relief and go, okay, now I can...
Oh, yeah. Every time they score. Every time they get some offensive help.
Bases are full of bucks. Sanchez walks. So Kurt Young will come out and pay a visit to the left-hander. Jerry Blevins, who has given up an RBI single to Alvarez, now has walked Sanchez.
Kurt Young's in pretty good shape. He's been making a lot of trips, getting his work in.
Turned out to be a very nice night on the North Shore after strange looking skies. We saw some sights out here earlier, including an amazing rainbow and golden skies.
Almost at one point it looked like the sun was rising in the west.
It did. It absolutely did.
All of a sudden it appeared above a cloud layer, and we were heading in the right direction weather-wise.
A 2-hour and 50-minute delay, and
there. Now that's content.
Yeah.
You're watching your Buccos score some runs, and just napping on occasion. Got the green weenie working.
May as well keep on eating. You can eat into tomorrow tonight. Mercer has a great chance to blow this game wide open. Bases loaded, 2 men out. Also Martin is the runner down at third base. Alvarez at second, Sanchez at first, and the pitch coming to Mercer. There's Russell. Pedro with an RBI base hit, same as Martin. And Sanchez, the 2-out walk. 1-1 pitch to Jordy. Oh, he's ahead in the count, 2-1. Mercer's done a good job this year hitting with runners on base. 18 out of 52. That's a 346 average. Right now, with the bases full, he'd love to come up with another hit. Count is even as Blevins gets a strike by him. Bottom of the fourth inning. 11:42 on a Wednesday, pushing Thursday morning. In the air to center, and over there to his left is Coco Crisp. He makes the catch. Pirates leave him loaded, but they add 2 more and have a 5-0 lead after 4.
And I'm Robbie Ince-Mikowski, and earlier you saw a shot of everybody, all the fans looking, the shots of all the fans we have out here that also are the Pirates' wives, and we have Cassie Jones right here along with son Jackson. She's rocking the full-on G.I. Jane outfit right now, Cassie. But first, quick moment about last night. Really successful with the charity auction. For over $400,000 raised. What was it like for you? You ran the tote board for us. We're quite popular. How'd you like it?
It was amazing just to do something and to help out these kids that I think there's very few groups I think that could be benefited more than the Miracle League group. It's actually a cause that's very near and dear to mine and Garrett's hearts, and we're actually going to have a charity later in the year that benefits these kids as well. So just to have a little part in that and to be able to raise any money for it just really put a smile on our face.
And that was fantastic. Now, please explain the outfits that you and the rest of the wives are wearing.
Okay, so we typically sit in the family section. We're a bit reserved. We dress nicely. You might see us in heels. And then there are these super fan days that we call them, or the SFD days, where we decide to dress up and to kind of mimic our husbands. So, as you said, I'm G.I. Jane. We have El Toro, which is Kelly Alvarez.
She's rocking the bull head right now, checking all the pictures that everybody's sending her.
We have the Shark Tank in front of me.
Chelsea Morris, Cassie Watson right here from the Shark Tank.
And then we have the Batman family and Robin, which are the Burnett's, Ashton and AJ and Karen Burnett.
And we have Jacqueline McHenry over there, too. She's wearing catcher's gear. Jacqueline, can you raise a knee right there real quick so we can see she's rocking the full-on shin pads there, Tim, which is pretty cool. Now, we're going to talk to AJ Jr. right here real quick, as I have a parrot giving me a hard time here. What's this like wearing the Batman costume? You see your dad constantly tweeting pictures. How much fun is this for you, bud?
I think it's really fun because he used to go to my school sometimes during Halloween and just come into gym class and just say, I'm Batman, and just walk around just being Batman, and it was really funny, so it's kind of cool to, represent him in this kind of way.
Yep, it sure is, AJ, and we got the parrot who's dressed as normal parrot costume, but a cool thing. Cass, enjoy yourself tonight, all right?
Thank you so much.
All right, guys?
All right. Robbie's going to sit down there for a while, I think. He's having some conversations.
Well, they're having some fun. And the Buccos are having some fun. 5-zip.
Seth Smith pinch hitting. Grant Green made the first out. So 1 out for the A's in the top half of the 5th inning. Smith has typically been a very good pinch hitter, and you go back to 2007 when he was a member of the Colorado Rockies playing for Clint Hurdle. Seth Smith, when the Rockies went on that unbelievable run at the end of the season, they won 20 out of 21 games. Yep. Ended up in the postseason and in the World Series, winning the National League pennant. Seth Smith coming off the bench was a pinch hit waiting to happen during that part of the season.
That was an unbelievable run.
2-1 pitch, swinging and a miss, 2-2. Also a very good athlete. He was a backup quarterback. Backed up Eli Manning at Ole Miss. Which was funny because when he was with the Rockies, Todd Helton backed up Peyton Manning at Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Smith goes down on strikes, so there's 2 down. Well, this Saturday, PPG Industries presents Zambelli Fireworks after the Bucks host the Mets at 7:15. Stay after the game as fireworks light up the beautiful Pittsburgh skyline. It's also an Eaton Park scratch and win Saturday. All fans get a scratch card, good for prizes from Eaton Park. Pirates.com is the place to go to get your tickets. Should be a big weekend here. Mets in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon, then the All-Star break. Pitcher's in the dirt. To the leadoff man, Coco Crisp. 2 for 2, pair of singles.
I played for a manager, Tim, who said, don't get to the All-Star break before it gets here. In other words, don't be thinking so much about this time off that you forget those last 2 or 3 days. And I always thought that was a pretty good reminder to take care of business and then enjoy your time. Don't get to the break before it gets here.
Clint Hurdle understands that extremely well and knows that his players understand it also. And you look at a 4-game losing streak, just the 2nd time this year, and in a scope of a 162 game season, 4 games in a row is not as big a deal as people might think it to be. And it's if it leads to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, that becomes an issue, obviously. But 4, you're going to drop that every once in a while. You hope you don't do it very often, but the Pirates have won so many series. Now that'll have lost 3 straight series, with the A's winning the first 2 of this one. Crisp grounds out to Jordy Mercer, and a 1-2-3, top of the 5th for Francisco Liriano. Buccos a 5-0 lead over the Athletics. Classics, Pennsylvania's all-time high school rushing leader, Russell Shell, and his Hopewell Vikings battle it out with Mike Caputo and his West Allegheny Indians in the 2009 Whitfield AAA Football Championship. Relive this memorable high school game with interviews from Mike Caputo, Bob Palco, Ben Sillin, and more. Sunday Night Classics, Shell versus Caputo. Sunday at 8 on Root Sports. It could go all the way. And he did. A lot. 5 runs on 11 hits and an error for the Bucks. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Athletics. It's dried out pretty well. Folks patiently waited for this one. And so far, they've been rewarded. Here's Sonny Gray, just up from AAA Sacramento.
Out of Nashville, Tennessee. You were talking about being a good baseball name. Yeah, that could be a baseball name, or put you in mind of maybe a good thoroughbred running in the Kentucky Derby. Sonny Gray, pounding around the stretch.
Making his first major league pitch, and it's a strike to Clint Barmas.
First rounder.
Yeah, 18th overall, same draft as Cole. So major league debut. So 2 of them this week for A's players. Grant Green, the second baseman, debuted on Friday. Sonny Gray backing up Jerry Blevins, who backed up Pat Neshek, who backed up Tommy Malone. There's Green. 0-2 to Clint Barmas. Barmas, Liriano, and Marte. Strike 3.
And they'll throw that ball right over the dugout. Nice way to start. One accomplishment you won't forget, young man. Sonny Gray.
Francisco Liriano at the plate. Probably thinking after that solid single in the 4th inning. All that time he spent in the American League. Why do we need a DH?
Why did they make me a pitcher?
He's pretty good as a pitcher. He's starting to come around some with the bat. You know, I was told the other day in the clubhouse, a little birdie told me that you ought to take a look at Liriano during batting practice. It's batting practice. It's not like somebody's trying to get you out. They want you to hit. And he can swing it. He was putting some up over the Clemente wall, putting them out of the ballpark.
Well, tonight he has his base hit, but he has been once again brilliant on the mound, picking up where he left off against the Cubs. One of our tips to win, and there's a call, 3rd strike. Liriano, rinse and repeat. Do just what you did last time.
So how about Sonny Gray in his major league debut? He's got 2 strikeouts. And now he will face Starling Marte. Marte 2 for 3. Marte doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. Takes inside for ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch. Lifted in the air to right field. Going back is Young on the track. He makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 5th. On to the 6th inning at PNC Park late on a Wednesday night. Heading to Thursday morning.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks.
Our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. This day, 1971, Willie Stargell hit an 8th-inning go-ahead home run off Phil Niekro to give the Bucks a 5-4 lead. It was Willie's 30th home run of the season and 10th off Braves pitching. The homer also took our own Steve Blass off the hook in that game. He didn't get a loss. The win went to Mudcat Grant. Thanks to Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Remember that game?
I don't, but thank you, Willie. 30th home run. That was the beginning, or that was part of a 48 home run season for Willie Stargell.
July 10th, he had 30 home runs.
Didn't have the greatest World Series, but he did a lot to get us there. And he got the Redeemer in '79.
Jed Lowry, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lowry, the shortstop, is 0 for 2. 1 for 2, beg your pardon. He had a single and there was an error on the throw. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. What kind of pitcher was Mudcat Grant?
He was very good, had a very lengthy career. Did a lot of good stuff with the Minnesota Twins. I believe he was involved when they were in the World Series in '65.
McCutchen grabs it for out number 1 to start the 6th inning.
And an entertainer, professional entertainer.
Really?
Mudcat Grant and the Kittens was the name of his group. And did a lot of entertaining, a lot of singing.
Well, let's see. Saying goodbye to Wednesday. Hello to Thursday. Good morning. Josh Donaldson, third baseman. It's now the 11th of July, Steve.
You'll get to be my age someday, and you'll see how fast they go. You're getting a little taste tonight.
I hope to get to your age.
Come on,
there we go.
0. You talk about going fast. I mean, that's it. It's the end.
It's the end. It's all over. I won't get to your age.
How about Francisco Liriano? What good has he been?
A fly ball out to McCutchen, 2 gone. Let's go to the Twitterverse. Ricky Duncan says, right now, would you consider Francisco Liriano and Jeff Locke as Cy Young candidates?
Sure, why not? You know, the knee-jerk reaction is they have to do what they're doing for the rest of the season, obviously, but you know, they can't be doing much better than they're doing at this point. They've done a terrific job.
Jeff Locke with a 2.15 ERA, second in the National League behind Clayton Kershaw, who's got a 1.89 ERA. And then if Liriano continues in this direction tonight, he'd be looking at win number 9, and he would be on the list of leaders in the National League. Backhanded play. Pedro throws out Yoenis Cespedes after the midnight hour. 5-0 Buccos. At PNC Park. Join us this Sunday as the Bucks host the Mets at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger take home a tumbler cup thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. Come early for the #1 Concord Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after and kids get to run the bases. Pirates.com to get your tickets for this Kids Day Sunday game against the Mets. Final game of the first half, and it's also last time we get to see the Bucks at home for just a little while. They won't be back until the 29th after a long road trip after the All-Star break to Cincinnati, Washington, and Miami. 5-0 by Pirates, and Jose Tabata will lead off. Facing Sonny Gray. And Gray delivers a strike. Tabata's got his average back up over 300. It dropped under to 299 during the game. He's at 303. 1 for 3 tonight with a double and a run scored. 2 runs scored. And 1 driven in, and now he's got another base hit. A multi-hit game for Tabata. Sonny Gray gives up his first big league hit.
A night of firsts.
Solidly struck single by Jose Tabata.
Lots of action, top of the batting order for the Pirates.
12th hit for the Pirates tonight. They've got a dozen. And now, the guy who has 2 of them, Andrew McCutchen at the plate. Strike called to McCutchen. No balls, 1 strike to Andrew. Now it's 0-2. Got it by him at 94. McCutchen's been swinging a good bat. He hits well here at home. He's been hitting well here in the month of July. He hits well against American League teams. Well, National League teams too, obviously, but he does well against the AL and interleague play. 0-2 pitch coming. That's fouled out of play. McCutchen came into the game tonight hitting .379 at home. Four Pirates headed to the All-Star game next week. Now, as we get closer to the weekend, we're going to find out which players who've been selected to go will not be participating for one reason or another. That's always the case every year. Someone or another backs out due to injury or whatnot. And there are replacement players that get added at the last minute. And maybe, just maybe, a Pirate might go. Maybe that guy right there, Francisco Liriano. Mm-hmm. Mark Melancon, a guy out in the bullpen, he's deserving as well. But we'll see what happens. And we usually find out that news the Sunday before. Strike 3 called. McCutchen down on strikes. So he's 2 for 3.
Pretty good snap on that fastball.
Russell Martin could be a candidate. I know some of his teammates have said as much. They felt Martin should be an all-star.
It certainly has been for the Pirates.
Pitch to Martin. That's it, go for ball 1. Melancon working out the hamstrings with the roller. Throw to first base and getting back is Tabata.
I'll tell you, Pirate fans do not like opposing pitchers throwing to first base. They simply have very little patience about that. They don't like it.
And they seem to like it less after midnight too.
Isn't that a song, After Midnight?
Well, we're going to let it all hang out.
Yeah, Grassroots or somebody.
Yeah. I like it. Martin drove in a run with a base hit in the 4th inning. That was his last at bat. Bucks batting in the bottom of the 6th. 3-0 to Russell Martin. 1 on and 1 out. Pedro Alvarez waits on deck.
Pedro's already had a good night, but you can add on to it.
Martin went after the 3-0 pitch.
And the young man out on the mound, who's not the biggest guy, but he's got a very impressive fastball. 5'11", 180. Gets to home plate in a hurry.
He has climbed the minor league ladder rather quickly. Spent the entire season last year in Double-A. Except in September he went to Triple-A for a bit. There's the Steve Blass Classic uniform.
Yeah.
Worn by our man Ricky down in the Lexus Club seats. "3-2. Martin fouls it back. You know, somebody asked a Twitter question earlier. What do we do during the rain delays? We wait for Ricky to come up and bring us stuff.
That's right.
That's what he does. He comes up and takes orders. And I saw him out in the hallway. He was bringing some burgers over to the Oakland guys.
Good man. Yeah, that is for real too. That's not painted on.
Too late. What a catch.
3-2 popped up. And the catcher Derek Norris will make the play for the second out. So 2 gone for the Bucks in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here comes Pedro. Alvarez is 2 for 3 tonight. A pair of runs batted in. Right now, Clint Hurdle's got him hitting cleanup against right-handed starting pitchers. Against lefties like we had tonight with Malone, he put Martin in the 4th spot, Pedro back to 5th. But there's probably going to be a day, and it looks like it's coming sooner than later, where, like we see with McCutchen just penciled in the lineup at 3rd. You know he's going to hit 3rd. And I think there's going to come a time where Alvarez is going to be that guy in the 4th spot all the time. That's what he projected at when the Pirates drafted him. At least they had hoped that he would turn out to be an all-star cleanup hitter. And he is on his way. It up to shallow left. Cespedes near the line will make the catch, and the Pirates are down in the 6th. They get a hit, leave a man. We'll go to the 7th, 5-0. 5 runs on 12 hits for the Pirates. And no runs on 4 hits for the A's. We go to the 7th. Checking some things off on his 5th birthday wish list. Just one thing left to check off, and that's raising the Roger when this thing's over.
There you go.
A strike call to Nate Fryman, the first baseman. Probably in the fine print it said stay up really late.
Part of the birthday wish.
That's okay. We're glad you're with us no matter where you're watching. And what time it is, where you're watching, glad you're with us. The Bucks and the A's in game 3. Left center field, McCutchen under it. One gone for Oakland.
And Liriano just rolling right along now. He is in charge of this ball game. And while we have a minute, it was nice to be able to say hello to Jeannie Donatelli, former executive secretary to a lot of Pirate general managers. Way back to Joe Brown and others, and a little bit under the weather. But Jeannie, all your years of dedication and work to the Pittsburgh Pirate organization, so much appreciated. Hope you're back in the starting lineup. Good to talk to Jeannie Donatelli.
Liriano facing Chris Young, the right fielder. There you go. Yes, he did. To Scott Perry, and that's a strike. 0-2.
'80th pitch delivered by Liriano. That's been quite efficient. Could he be heading for a second straight complete game?
Wouldn't that be something?
Doesn't look like it. Is that somebody under the StubHub sign loosening up or preparing to loosen up? Sometime Melanson just warms up without a baseball.
Yeah, he just does a little shadow pitching right here. He does that each game this time when he knows he's available and could pitch. It's his way of preparation. He's trying to visualize what could happen when he gets in the ball game. Young fouls it back. Count stays even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two pitch to Young. Gets away. 3-2. What does that say? Well, there's one you don't see very often. He wants
cuts for the school board.
Young strikes out.
I would nominate for Liriano for anything right now. Downstairs again. He gets so many people swinging over top of those deliveries downstairs, whether it's a fastball, curveball, or the changeup.
Well, now Liriano will face the catcher Derek Norris with 2 outs and the base is empty. That's a strike right on the corner.
This is machinery right now out on the mound. Just clicking right along.
9 in a row for Liriano. 1 ball, 1 strike. 0 for 4 in the series, 0 for 2 tonight. Two and 1. And Norris is the guy who starts against lefties, and John Jaso, the other catcher, starts against right-handers. I mentioned, well, it's yesterday now, that when I talked to Brandon Moss earlier, he said they like it. That the A's players like the fact that they don't really have to be told by Bob Melvin what the lineup's going to be. He said unless there's a change in the pattern, because if depending on which side the pitcher that they're facing that night is throwing from, they know who's in the lineup. Backhanded play by Barmes. The throw, and Sanchez got him on the tag. Terrific play by Clint Barmes. Wow.
and Sanchez. They both get a circle, 6-3, the hard way.
10 in a row sat down by Francisco Liriano.
Nicely done. Clint Barmas on the move, deep in the hole, throwing before he can set himself, and Gabby on the drive-by.
AGH Cam slows it down for you. Just barely got him on the way by. Great reaction from Clint Barmas. Well, looked more like a lead block. Time for the 7th inning stretch.
By authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Let's take a look at the Nissan Road Ahead. Friday night, Jeremy Hefner takes on Charlie Morton as the Mets begin the series with the Pirates. Carlos Torres will replace Matt Harvey. Harvey has a blister on his right index finger, will skip his start Saturday. Reports say he will be available for the All-Star game Tuesday. A.J. Burnett opposes Torres Saturday, and Dylan G will face Jeff Locke on Sunday. Final game before the All-Star break. So Liriano, some hugs. Terrific job. He's retired the last 10 men he's faced. Pirates with a 5-0 lead. Batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. Gabby Sanchez leads off. He's walked twice and flied out to right field. He's 0 for 1. Dan Otero takes over for the Athletics. Otero waiting to deliver to Gabby Sanchez. That pitch outside, ball 1-1.
Pretty conventional delivery from one of the Oakland relievers.
Can you believe it?
I can.
Haven't seen too many of those in the series. Well, we've seen some. Sanchez takes again. 2-1. The Cardinals have hung on and defeated Houston 5-4. The Pirates trying to keep pace with them tonight. A game and a half back in the Central. Oh, Chopper just gets to the side of the mound. Quick toss by Otero. Nice play, and there's one out.
Another play with a player going away from where he's throwing. Nicely done.
Here's tonight's AGH Sports Medicine injury update. Pirates won't be seeing Sean Markham this weekend either. When the Mets come to town, he was placed on the 15-day DL yesterday with right hand numbness and is scheduled to repair that condition next week. Having this surgery will end Markham's season. Injury update brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. Here's Jordy. And Mercer takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. 0-1 pitch to Jordy Mercer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, quick turnaround for tomorrow, Steve. We'll see you in the morning sometime at Fox Chapel.
Depends on the condition of my house. And I wouldn't miss golf for anything. But
came dressed for the occasion. Comes the 1-2 to Mercer. In the air to right field. There's 1 out as Young makes the catch. 2 outs, beg your pardon.
See, it's going so darn quick.
It is, isn't it? So 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning. We start getting punchy after bedtime here. So Otero gets the first 2 men, and now he'll face Clint Barmas. Barmas had a base hit in the 2nd inning. He was 1 for 3. Justin Wilson.
Now they're serious out there. They got a baseball and everything.
0-1 to Barmas. That's outside and low. Otero came up on the 14th of June from AAA, appearing in his 9th game. And he has appeared against the Pirates once. It was last year on the 15th of April.
We're busy over in that particular neck of the woods here at PNC Park.
I'm surprised Robbie didn't, dive in front of that ball, protect everybody else down there. It's part of the job.
There's a bag right here in front. That would have been ugly had it not hit this duffel bag that was sitting right here.
Sounds like a recap.
Or monitor this bag right here. Time to give this ball to a kid, though, okay?
Oh, there's one right there. Made his night. Popped up to the shortstop, Jed Lowry. And the Pirates go quietly in the bottom of the 7th inning. Brand new souvenir. By Head and Shoulders. Now with Old Spice. Liriano picking up a few whiffs tonight.
6. And look at them. All downstairs. 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 Underneath. He was brilliant tonight. Brilliant. And by the way, his performance tonight takes him down to an even 2.00 in his ERA. Actually, technically, he's a click below 2. We got that all squared away, so he is under 2 in his ERA. So he just keeps rolling along, and Justin Wilson is doing just fine.
So Wilson will take over here in the 8th inning. Liriano retired the last 10 he faced.
No runs on 4 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts. Squeaky clean. Similar to the 4 hits he threw against the Cubs with his complete game last time out.
Grant Green still looking for his first big league knock.
Well, you know, maybe Liriano came out thinking, you know, if we're not going to score any runs or minimal offense, I'm just going to have to shut him out. And that'll guarantee. And the other team doesn't get any runs. You very seldom lose.
Yep.
Very seldom. So he took care of his part of the deal. And the Pirates' bats came to life. A 3 spot and a 2 spot. That's where we are now. 5-zip. In back of some Pirate bats and Mr. Liriano.
And now you've got 2 pitchers with minuscule ERAs, 2.15 for Locke and 2 or just a tick under 2 for Liriano. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Francisco doesn't have enough innings to qualify for the leader chart of ERA leaders for the National League. But,
not yet.
Not yet, but if he had enough, he would be way up there, if not on top. Now, Mr. Kershaw, 189.
2-2 pitch, and Green foul tips it into the glove of Russell Martin and strikes out. A pinch hitter in the 9 spot now. After we get a look at the strikeout. So Wilson now will face left-handed hitting John Jaso. And this is one of the issues that you have when you load up with right-handers or left-handers. Bob Melvin does not have a right-handed option, not even a switch hitter coming off the bench. Any pinch hitting option he would have is left-handed. So knowing that, that's part of the reason Wilson's in the game.
Mm-hmm. And we find out from the home office downstairs in the truck that Liriano's 14 innings short of qualifying. And if he keeps going 7 innings, he will be right up there.
Mercer charges and throws out Jaso. Well, folks, I invite you later this morning to pick up the Trib. Greg Brown featured in an article in the Thursday edition of the Trib.
Very deserving.
Joe Starkey wrote a nice article on him. Just
very deserving.
Just finished reading it.
And he's pretending now that he doesn't realize we're showing him. But seriously, well deserved.
Yep. Good stuff in there.
Congratulations, Greg. Really.
Make sure you pick it up.
God, I wish I meant that. No, I do. I do. He's a lifer. He's a Bucko lifer.
Coco Crisp, nothing in 1. And Crisp's got a base hit. His second of the ball game, third of the ball game, actually.
The way the ball game started, flare out to right field, dropping in front of Mr. Tabata.
So 3-hit night for Coco Crisp. And the batter now that Wilson will face will be the switch hitting shortstop, Jed Lowry. Wow. Now, do you mix the popcorn with the Cracker Jacks?
No.
Because Cracker Jacks are popcorn.
But the Cracker Jacks are kind of uptown.
Now the peanuts that come in the Cracker Jack box right here, those are good. I like the way these come in the box here.
I open the bottom so I can get the prize.
Nice throw, Dash.
What was that?
To center field, and McCutcheon will track this one down. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. Coco Crisp a 3-hit night, but the A's have no runs. In the bottom of the 8th inning. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Chris Young moves from right field to center field as the A's make a couple of changes. Josh Reddick enters the game to play right field. Brought his beard with him. And former Pirate Jesse Chavez is on the hill. A long time since Jesse's pitched in this ballpark. With the Pirates in 2009. And Snyder pinch hitting. First pitch grounds out to first base. Snyder was hitting for the pitcher Wilson. One pitch and one out. Back to the top of the order and Starling Marte. Now the Bucs kick off a 3-game series against the Mets starting Friday at 7:05. All fans take home a Gold Pirates t-shirt on a free shirt Friday. Thanks to Cottonelle, Viva, and Giant Eagle. Get to Federal Street before the game. There's a Budweiser block party going on featuring local live music. Plus, Rennie Stennett will be there at the Budweiser bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Marte takes ball one. Yosti, we were talking about Liriano and his earned run average, which sitting right around 2. And the last Pirates starter to have an ERA below 2 at the All-Star break, 1968, Bob Veal. His ERA was 1.90 at the All-Star break.
Bob Veal, hard-throwing left-hander for the Pirates, led the league in strikeouts in 1964, 250.
Chased that one. And down on strikes was Marte. Marte now 2 for 5.
There you have it. That's a pretty clean-looking program for Mr. Liriano. 90 pitches in his 7 innings of work. No runs, 4 hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. That's doing the tighten up.
John Gomez getting loose. Gomez will pitch the top of the 9th. In a non-save situation. Just trying to finish it up. Clint probably getting Jemar some work. He hasn't had as much work since he's gone back to the bullpen out of the rotation. And we'll find out probably in the next day or so all the details about what the Pirates will do with the pitching staff coming out of the rotation. We're having discussions about that, and they certainly have internal thoughts that they hadn't shared up until game time today. But Ray Searage and Clint Hurdle and the rest of the staff will figure out what to do for the rotation for the second half. Wandy Rodriguez still on the disabled list, and in the second half he'll be part of things.
Just a matter of when.
Top of the chopper to third base, backhanded by Donaldson, loads up and fires a strike to Fryman at first, and the Pirates done in order for the second straight inning. We'll go to the ninth at PNC Park. 5-0 Buccos. Five nothing as we head to the top of the ninth inning. And the new pitcher on for the Pirates. After Snyder moves to right field, stays in the game after pinch hitting. And Janmar Gomez takes over. He'll try to finish this one up. Pirates are 3 outs away from their very first win ever against the Oakland Athletics.
Yep. And you talked about the rotation possibilities. This guy hasn't embarrassed himself with his 8 starts. He's done a very, very good job. ERA of 2.70. Nothing wrong if you get in a situation where you need somebody that you run Mr. Gomez out there. He's been good.
Well, keep your shirt on. Game will be over soon. There's the hashtag raise the Jolly Roger, RTJR, which is all over Twitter afterward. Well, the Parrot's got his pajamas on, his pillow ready to go. It'll be night time soon for the Parrot. Donaldson takes a strike.
Looks like he's found a friend there.
Looking for a bedtime story. know parrots slept with their eyes open, Steve. Did you?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of things we don't know about the parrot.
About 3 minutes after his bedtime.
Yep. And of course, he'll have to sleep fast because he's got to get right up, have breakfast, and clean out the cage.
We'll see him out in his golf duds tomorrow. He's got
the tan.
SpongeBob SquarePants pajamas. Who lives on a pineapple under the sea?
There's something wrong with that pitcher.
Donaldson runs out to Gomez. One gone.
He's the best. Pirate Parrot. He's got it all down. He's got it all together.
You ever watch SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yes, I have. I also had a recent root canal. No, I watch it with my grandkids all the time.
Yoenis Cespedes chops this one foul. Cespedes tonight 0 for 3. We're down to 221.
I think we'd throw a wrench into SpongeBob's world if we threw the Shark Tank in there.
Yes. But I would like to try the secret Krabby Patty recipe.
Well, yeah. There's a reason why it's secret.
Look at that pitch. Just break off the table, and Cespedes chasing. 0-2 to Yoenis Cespedes. One out, top of the ninth. Had to get him to go after it again, but he wouldn't. One and two the count. Charlie Morton will oppose Jeremy Hefner of the Mets on Friday in the opener of the Mets series. Right-hander, so you see Garrett Jones next to him. We'll expect to see Jones, a left-handed hitter, in the lineup against Hefner on Friday. Well, they're waking him up.
Wake-up call.
Yeah, he's got to find another place to sleep.
This guy just can't get any rest anymore. He wakes up cranky, doesn't he?
Payoff pitch from Gomez. Ground ball to short. Good hop for Barmes. 2 down. And 1 out to go. Make sure to stick around. Rob King, Kent Jacoby. They've been waiting through this long delay and in the ball game too. They're going to break this down. Make sure you stay with them. They've got all the details of this ball game.
Homeless parrot.
Nate Fryman, the batter, takes a strike. Well, the Pirates just an out away from ending a 4-game skid. Getting back on the winning track, looking for win number 54. And the 0-1. That misses 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Tim, I'm glad we had this short quality time together tonight.
It started this afternoon. No, started yesterday afternoon.
Well, the thing is, when we finally got this underway, after waiting, talking about this earlier, somebody's going to win this game, and they're going to feel a lot better about it tomorrow morning than the team that lost.
One-two pitch. Fouled off.
I know one thing, it's going to be better going home than it is to an airport. after this.
That's where the A's are going. They're going to fly back west. Fly overnight. Well, they get 3 hours back going to the West Coast, but it's still going to be real early when they get in. There's your ball game right there. The Pirates put a halt to the 4-game skid. Francisco Liriano, the stopper tonight with 7 strong innings, scattering 4 hits. And the Pirates shut out the A's by a 5-0 score. They go to 54 and 36. Couple of hits tonight from